Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our 13th edition of the Grassroots Bulletin. I cannot believe there have been 13 editions already. I'm so excited to have three amazing community leaders with us this time. First, we have Senator Lebec from Brookline, Sumathi Madur, and Amanda Martinez from Nashua as well. All of them from Hillsborough County. All of them, however, were just re-elected this past week at our Constituency Caucus Organization Day to lead the charge of the Black African American, Latino, and Asian American Pacific Islander caucuses. We're so excited for your leadership. Thank you for being here with us today. So really quick, before we get down to a couple of questions, Senator Lebec, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Sebastian. It's great to be here with everyone. My name is Melanie Levake, and I am a former state representative and a former state senator and the chair of the Black African American Caucus for the NHDP. I love working with people. That is one of the most important things to me. It gets me going. As a senator, I did take on things like passing the Juneteenth holiday. And that was a wonderful opportunity to work together with senators and representatives and to ensure that all of our representatives of color were part of that bill signing. And that was with the Black African American Caucus members. So it was a really great opportunity. As a chair of the Black African American Caucus, I'm so happy to be able to work with the AAPI caucus, with the Latino caucus, and we have done several events together. And we believe that we have so much in common, and we also have so much in common with all of our friends and allies within the Democratic Party. We have shared values. It's good to have our individual groups, but it's also very good to come together with our shared values.
Absolutely, Senator. Thank you for that. And Juneteenth is just around the corner. For looking forward to that amazing event. Sumathi, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Sumathi Madurai. I live in Nashua, and my day job is a full-time physical therapist. I've been in New Hampshire for 30 years now. I've been involved in the democratic politics of the state for about 12 to 14 years now. I'm a grassroots organizer. That's my passion. And I'm also co-chair of New Hampshire AAPI Democrats. It's a diversity caucus of the New Hampshire Democratic Party, which was formed and formalized in June of 2020. We have had many progresses in the AAPI community since starting of our diversity caucus. Culturally as well as politically, I feel like we have increased the awareness to the extent that more people are interested in politics. In more AAPIs have come forward to not just organize, but also to take on leadership roles, running for election and stuff like that. So so that we're very happy about the progress of the AAPI caucus in the community in New Hampshire political, how do I say this?
Universe.
Universe, yes.
There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sumathi, for your leadership. Excited to have you here. And now, mi amiga, Amanda, how are you? Tell us a little bit about you for the viewers out there.
Hello, everyone. Happy to join y'all today in such great company, of course. Amanda Martinez. I'm a resident of Nashua. I have just been reelected as the chair of the Latino Caucus. And I actually want to say as one of many chairs, if you will, and we'll get into that later. But I like to say my dual impact role, and I say dual impacts because I make an impact in my day job, as you will, as a diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner, as well as a nonprofit consultant. And I say day job because then after hours, just like everyone on this phone, we're out in our community. We're trying to make a difference in doing as much as we can to get people involved. It's really important, I think, that we're talking with one another today as we continue the conversation. So this is not a new conversation for any of us here. But working together, just like Melanie had mentioned before, to continue the work to get people more involved, more activated, but also to educate people as to why being involved and being active is important to not only them but to our community overall. And our community is not just here in our cities and towns or our state of New Hampshire; it's across our country. And then, of course, as a global citizen. So excited to be talking with all of you and being part of this conversation today.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for that. Well, we have a few questions for you all. Maybe we'll start with Senator Levesque. Senator, how have you worked to bring diverse voices into the legislative process in New Hampshire? As a senator, as a candidate, and as a community organizers, what can you tell us about that?
Well, I think that being engaged out and about in all spaces is critically important. Being visible and talking with everyone. Doesn't just have to be an African American or, BIPOC, but everyone is in our universe. Always be looking out for people who want to be a part of our caucuses or part of the Democratic Party or just sharing those values, and also looking for candidates to run for office. So that's really very important.
Oh, absolutely. You just highlighted a really strong point about, our communities need allies and we got to find those allies. And then we also have to be able for them to find us and build community. So thank you for that. Sumati, question for you. You have been involved in grassroots organizing for a long time, like you mentioned earlier. How have you seen diversity impact your local organizing or policy change?
Um, I'm going to address organizing first. It definitely brings different perspectives, different perspectives from like our community. And then when we work with other ally groups like, Black African American and Latino American caucuses, kind of brings different perspectives. I feel like that makes connectivity better. And when we connect with people, not just the BIPOC people, but the broader, community, when you connect with people, you have their ear. You have an opportunity to have a conversation and perhaps change their mind if we can. Um, but also feel like, organizing, bringing our community into organizing brings awareness in the broader community about our presence because we are here. Diversity is part of America. We're not going anywhere. We're not going back. So it's our job to kind of bring awareness and then let people know that diversity is to be welcomed, not feared. And that can be brought about by, like, for example, our caucus having cultural events, inviting people, exposing them to our culture, kind of create that friendship and connection. I feel, if we didn't get to the table, how do people know that we even exist, right? So,
Absolutely.
you know,
Thank you for that, Sumati. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. That gave me a little bit of chills. Like we're going nowhere. We're here to stay, and we're gonna make this country better.
part
So,
of the
Amanda,
community. Mhm.
that's right. Amanda, question for you. You're the expert here of diversity and equity and inclusion. How do you approach diversity in your leadership? And what changes would you like to see in how democracy is practiced on the ground here in New Hampshire?
Sure. So just even within our leadership, so if you look at the Latino Caucus Executive Committee, if you will, the way we try to approach it is even though I'm considered to be the chair, we actually share responsibility across all of our committee members. And so our committee members happen to have work out that we're all women. We identify as women. Um, and I think that's important itself because I think to empower women and to help women feel empowered to actually put their names out there to run is really important. Um, at the same time, we also welcome anyone else that would like to join us. But I think looking at diversity, it is. I think both Melanie and Smathi had just said this perfect thing: is we're better as a whole when we come together. So sharing in responsibilities across the caucus that makes sure that we're trying to listen to as many voices as possible. I'm sure we could all tell you that as far as representation in the state, about approximately 170-ish thousand people that identify, as BIPOC in some way, shape, or form. When you think about the Latino community, we're approximately, I would say about 59,000 of that. So it seems like a lot, but when you really think about it, it's not, especially when we have a community that's 80+% white Caucasian. And nothing's wrong with that. What we want to do is make sure that we are collaborating across not only the caucuses, but across the state and other groups, and especially our allies. Number one, to educate them as to who we are, why the Latino diaspora is as diverse, and I hate using that word when we're talking about diversity, but is as diverse as it's just not Mexicans, it's just not Puerto Ricans, but how do we come together? And even so, how do we, potentially even identify ourselves even across, the diaspora? So, say for instance, Black African American and Black Latinx, if you will. But we just tried to make sure that, again, not any different than what the ladies are saying here today, is that there's representation, there's perspective, that we're bringing people in to listen to, our perspectives and wanting them to learn from us. And making sure that there's an exchange there, because what we want to do is we want to be included and we want to belong. In too many times in our communities, we feel like we're left out of the process, left out of opportunity. And so making sure that that we don't have to build a table, but we will if we have to. We want that seat at the table, but even more so, not only just that seat, we want the microphone when people are speaking. We want that opportunity because you know what? We're as valuable, to this community as anyone else. And we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to support and enhance and grow, develop New Hampshire to become a stronger state than it already is.
We want the microphone. Absolutely. Thank you, Amanda, for that. And to the three of you, is there anything else that you want to share with the folks out there watching this interview? Senator, what about you first?
Sure. I just want to add that we have a dynamic new team of executive committee members, young people, people who have been here for, several years, like myself. So it's a really good mix, and our focus is really going to be in reaching out to other groups within our state and making
There
sure
we
that we touch the entire state, not just one small area. So this is our time. People are excited. They're ready to join. They want to know how they can help, what they can do. And we ask you to come join with us, even to visit. And we'll have great social media coming up very shortly.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Senator. And yeah, we're excited. I can tell you that Team Political is going to be right there alongside of you all to help you. Sumati, what you have for us from the APIs?
So Amanda made a good point that, we, even within our community, there's so much of diversity, right? So just even within our community itself, organizing, bringing people together, improves connectivity among ourselves, which is so important. Otherwise, we are like silos. There's like South Asian community, there's East Asian community, Southeast Asian community, right? I'm learning so much just being co-chair of AAPI, New Hampshire Democrats, how different communities even organize, like, the conversations that they have. Things that are important to one community is not so important to other. And like I said earlier, we are here, we are part of the community. We are your neighbors, your teachers, your doctors, your lawyers, your small business owners. So we want people to know about us, and we want to know about them. And, I think that's really important to kind of exist in a cohesive way. And like I said earlier, diversity is something that every community should welcome and not fear. And that's the goal of our API caucus, to kind of bring about that.
Thank you for that, Sumati. Absolutely. Amanda, what you got for us?
Well, one of the things I shouldn't say one, there's never just one, you know that, right? Some of the areas that we want to make sure that people are aware of, when I talk about opportunity and access for our communities as well as everyone else's, that's a lot to do with understanding the national atmospherics currently and how they impact our communities. We've all at one point in time been a target, and it seems like right now the Latino communities, especially a target on the national stage. Our people don't feel safe in a lot of situations. You know, when you talk about people, you know, being taken and or essentially kidnapped off the streets, there's a huge safety issue out there. So, you know, understanding why immigration became such an issue as it was. You know, I grew up in New Mexico where we used to walk across the border all the time. We never had that issue. So really truly educating yourselves as to why it became an issue. Why was it free and open before, and why did it became an issue now? Also understanding the other issues that impact our population, whether it be, you know, education, having again opportunity and access there, healthcare, and understanding especially how mental health can impact our communities. That's really important to us as well. Having community. You know, we're trying to build community within our own. So finding one another, big state, a large state like New Hampshire, it's not always easy, especially if you're up north. We're trying to make those community connections as much as possible. So if anyone, you know, knows of any, please pass those on to us so that we can make sure that we're connecting with fellow Latinos and Latinas. But even the greater community, whether you be BIPOC, you're LGBTQ plus, and you know, whatever, however you identify, is making sure that we're connecting. But one of the things I want to say is this. I think the best thing that our community can do right now, and by community, I say New Hampshire residents, is support all of our communities, support the Latino communities, educate yourself as to, you know, these many issues that we're facing right now. Become an ally. We need allies as much as possible right now. And in this state, it's very easy to become an ally. Amplify our voices where possible. We can't be in all the rooms, but you know what? You can amplify the messages that we're all trying to bring to you today. Join our caucuses, right? These are easy things to do. Educate yourself and join the caucuses, especially Latinos and others. You know, you can take a step forward and actually take advantage of this opportunity to let your voice be heard and to speak on behalf of others as well.
Thank you, Amanda. And that leads me to, if you want to be part of, you identify with any of these caucuses, please reach out to us, political@nhdp.org. Our Party Affairs Constituency Director, Josh Aquiri, will connect you with the right folks to get yourself engaged and going. So again, we can be talking about this topic for hours, but I just want to say thank you to three of you for sharing a few minutes of your time today. We appreciate your leadership and the work that you do in your communities, and not just for Democrats, but for the whole state. So thank you so much, folks. And for everybody watching us online or checking our grassroots bulletin, until the next edition, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sebastian.
Thank you.
Mhm.